Twitter, what's going on, Black Planet, what's going on, MySpace, what's going on, all of those funky joints, man. What's up? This is Kev from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make some sense out of nonsense. And I'm back to finish making some sense out of the stuff we was talking about last night during my live show. And some new stuff, y'all. We got some new breaking news that I couldn't pass it up. You know, you don't want to ever miss the news cycle. We don't want to be like the fake news and overlook, special events or breaking stories, things like that. We don't want to do that. We want to stay current and relevant. So if you are joining my show for the first time, please hit the like button, share my videos, follow me on all the other platforms and all that good stuff. And let me know if the sound is working. I need to do that. We don't want to get going and then next it's wah, 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 wah. Then also, I'm going to give everybody on Facebook a heads up. If you watch me on Facebook, I thought I plugged that particular device in to charge. It's kind of low on power. So just in case it starts dying, y'all know what to do. Just log on to my YouTube channel and you can see it live over here as well. All right, now, guys, we need to get into some stuff. Texas in the house. Yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about. And y'all say y'all can hear me loud and clear. Good. Let me wet my whistle because I'm about to blow the whistle. Just like some whistleblowers blew the whistle yesterday. I'm about to blow the whistle too. And I want y'all to, of course, enjoy it and give me feedback and all that good stuff. Now, a couple other things. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Super chat. Feel free. Any other way you want to support my channel, just anything like sharing the videos, liking the videos, just making sure you subscribe. All those things really, really help because YouTube is doing everything they can to put their thumb right on the back of my neck, just like they're trying to do President Trump. So let's go ahead and get ready to get into this. Somebody said I'm buffering. Am I buffering, y'all? Somebody tell me, am I buffering over there on YouTube? Am I buffering? I don't want to buffer. I don't want to buffer. Nobody wants to buffer. Let's see. Tell me if I'm buffing, okay? We need to get the hold of that. Oh, somebody said no. Okay. So get ready, y'all, because, boy, this one's going to be a good one tonight, man. Let's get it. Oh, let me get focused and loose and all that stuff. What? Real gorilla. Real gorilla. Real gorilla. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Now, guys, we know that we're about to come into this election, and this is going to be, in my opinion, the single most important election in the United States. Now, I know people might say, well, what about the Civil War, all that stuff? Yeah. Those elections were important. There were key presidents in each era. But now we're looking at a potential presidency that could either save America as it is, and we continue going towards the path of greatness, or at least recovering and going back towards greatness, or we can go ahead and drift off into the abyss if the wrong person is installed. And that's exactly what is taking place. They're trying to install the person, or at least somebody like that person. Either whoever the Democrats put up there, you already know it's going to be a puppet. See, it don't matter. Whether they can speak and can walk, unlike Joe Biden, they're still going to be a puppet. So either way we cut it, they're going to install a puppet. And they're going to do everything they can to stop President Trump or anybody similar to him, meaning the right attitude, America first, can't be manipulated by the deep state, can't be manipulated by donors or, overseas folks that aren't elected to the United States. No influence by George of the jungle. Yes, the Trump is an anomaly. No influence by any of those people. Somebody who's willing to get in and wreck shop. Come in there and clean the house, because last night, if you watch my show, towards the end, I was highlighting some bureaucrats that are nestled into our government. They're not even in high places. These are folks that I work inside of this agency here, and me and my comrades in here don't like the way things are going. So we're going to leak stuff. We're going to go ahead and secretly partner up with these radical left-wing activist agencies and share information. Do some workshops. So we got to finish that. But we also got to talk about the other part of the government, which is blatantly abusing their power, blatantly going after their political opponent while overlooking some obvious. And they're able to get away with it through a heavy dose of gaslighting. So we want to get caught up to what's going on recently with Creepy Sleepy. Now, we all know they trying to indict President Trump for the umpteenth time. But what about Creepy? So let's see what's up with Creepy lately, y'all. What's this? Oh, yeah. Don't forget. There we go. Thank you. Join my text alert, okay? 1-877-931-2396. And then text the word join so that you can get some type of notification just in case you miss them. Now, I didn't send the notification out today. I realized that the text, what you call it, costs some money. Every time I send a text, they be stacking it up, which is cool. But I kind of save them for certain things. It seems that you all are getting pretty consistent messages when I do a live stream. But when I upload those standalones, man, the suppression is unbelievable. So until I stack my kitty of text messages, and I'm going through technical jargon with you guys, but trust me, they got a system that I got to kind of play around with so I can maximize my text messages, okay? But please, that doesn't mean you can't join, because you'll still be ready to get those texts when I do send them, all right? So now, let's get into this tonight.
So as a result of the actions of James Comey, the disgraced James Comey, and the FBI, they've interfered with the elections in both 2016 and 2020.
Wow. Man, coming straight out the blocks, man. This man right here, Mr. Tiffany, straight asking Raggedy Ray. James Comey, aka Big for Nothing, interfered with the election in 2016 and 2020. Let's see.
Will that interference happen again in 2024 by the FBI?
The FBI is not going to be interfering in elections.
They did in 2016.
Ooh. Well, I don't know that that's what Mr. Durham found. What I would tell you again is that there was conduct that I consider unacceptable and unrepresentative.
You ready for this uppercut? You ready for this uppercut? Because this guy refuses to admit to wrongdoing by the agency. He always downplays it. I disagree with this. That's not the holding of the FBI. I want to hear you say it was wrong. It was illegal. I want to hear some of that. I want to hear some straight to the point and call it for what it is, man. I want some balls and strikes. So now this guy has to give him an uppercut.
You can be in denial if you want to.
I'm not in denial,
Mr. Drake,
sir.
you can be in denial on this. That's exactly what happened.
I love it. See, and that's the whole thing. You can sit back and poot and fart around all day. Dang on Raggedy Ray. Pooting and farting around all day, Raggedy Ray. So here he is talking about, I'm not sure if that's whatever he said and all of that stuff. And and I'm going, they interfered. You don't want the shock value to the Americans watching those hearings to find out that our own agencies, our own FBI, was fighting against the will of the people. See, it's a hard pill to swallow when you have to come out and say, yep, we were involved in election interfering. The same election interfering that we claim we're all over the internet trying to police and stop foreign actors from getting involved with our elections and stuff like that. That same election interference that we're using to censor all of the folks who disagree with what we want to happen, we were actually interfering. So he don't want to say that, but this guy right here, hey, look, you can go ahead and deny it all you want, but we all know what it was.
Biden take payments from Burisma or any other foreign companies as vice president, president, or private citizen Biden?
As you may know, there is an ongoing investigation being led by the U.S. Attorney in Delaware, Mr. Weiss, appointed by President Trump in the last administration, that our Baltimore field office is working with, and I would refer you to him as to what, if anything, can be
So the president...
There we go again. As you know, it's an ongoing investigation, and look, he asked you about President Biden, whether he was a senator, whether he was a vice president, or as president. Did he receive any money? Because now you're referring to an investigation that was started on Hunter. I mean, why can't you make a comment about Creepy Sleepy? Not to mention, you know the answer to it. We all know the answer to it, Raggedy Ray. The question is, if you knew this, why didn't you do something about it? Why weren't charges brought up against Creepy Sleepy when you found that laptop? Or when you got that form that was the RDD something 1023. We're about to find out what that is, y'all. Because remember, Raggedy Ray denied the existence of it.
He is under investigation.
I'm not going to confirm or speak to who is or isn't under investigation for what. I'm simply
So
going to
he's
tell
not
you.
under investigation?
I didn't say that either.
Oh,
By longstanding department policy and practice, I'm not going to be confirming or denying who is or isn't under investigation or for what.
Thank you. I'll close with this. Russia collusion started it, Mr. Chairman, and the targeting and the suppression and the censorship has continued until this point. We need to thoroughly review what the FBI is doing, and at a minimum, I will be allowing FISA to sunset if we're not going to see significant reforms in the agency. I yield back.
in fact, I would go one step further. I say we just get rid of the whole FBI, CIA, all them agencies, because we're about to find out that it's not just the big ones, the intel community. It's a whole bunch of other agencies. Please, if you didn't watch last night's live show to get caught up with what we're about to show you in a few minutes, you got to go back and catch the other part. I ain't going backwards, y'all. So let's see then what is the new breaking news, because apparently Raggedy Ray cannot confirm or deny any of these accusations. I will refer you to the department that is investigating all of that mess. So let's see the breaking news.
Moments ago, Fox News Digital obtaining the FBI's 1023 form that alleges that Biden's coerced a Burisma CEO to pay them millions of dollars to help get a Ukrainian prosecutor fired.
Let's back up. So we can go back to when they were saying Donald Trump is trying to jail his own opponents. He's opening up investigations against his rival just so he could win an election. Not because he knew that Joe Biden and Hunter was corrupt. No, he was asking Zelensky to look into it because he was trying to win an election against Creepy Sleepy, and they impeached him over that mess. Now we find out that that mess was true. How many times do Trump have to be right? How many times is it going to take for the fake news who pushes these narratives, demonizes Trump, attacked him, and all of that stuff, only to find out that Trump was right and they just act like they never said anything, act like they were never the ones that said, I can't believe he's doing this. Look, he's going after his own opponent. I mean, there's no proof that Joe Biden ever did, because they were willfully blind or they were just naively blind. One of the two, or corrupt, one of the three. They were corrupt because they knew that this dude took this money. They knew Joe was all on TV talking about some son of a gun. They fired that prosecutor. Now this form comes out. Thank you, Grassley. The old man still got it, y'all. He dropped that sucker out there because Raggedy Ray wasn't going to do it.
The form was released by Senator Chuck Grassley today. This comes after two IRS whistleblowers came forward with allegations that federal officials interfered with the Hunter Biden investigation.
What? Man, that's a lot of heat. All that heat, man. The heat is on. The heat is on. Come on, y'all know you songs. The heat is on. The heat is on. Dang on it. If I was creepy in the crackhead, I'd be like, hey, Hunter, meet me on the jet. We're leaving the country. We're going to get impeached and thrown in the slammer. Yeah, all right. Looks like the president sought refugee in North Korea. He lives there now. Because how can you tiptoe around this? Why? I mean, right now, all of that crap we've been hearing about President Trump about to be indicted again for a coup and all of this stuff. All of that mess they're trying to distract us with, talking about the guy who's prosecuting him, went to Subway. He went to Subway, y'all, and that's a message to Trump. But yet this drops out there today that paints it nice and clear that Creepy Sleepy was involved in a shakedown over in Ukraine and other countries. At what point do the fake news tap out? At what point do they go hard on Joe Biden and the crackhead? Because the last I checked, every time something like this pops up, they want to focus on Creepy Sleepy being a dedicated father. And he stands by his son and his drug habit and all that stuff. What? Oh, no, we're not here to talk about all of the evidence and all of these whistleblowers. Real evidence, real whistleblowers, real facts, all of that mess. You don't have to bend and contort the details to make it nice and plain and clear when it comes down to Joe and the crackhead. But yet with Trump, they coming up with all kind of stuff, pulling stuff out the ether, going back. This law was passed in 1820. Let's see if we can get him on this one. Why don't you get him on this mess? Let's hear some more about this form that got released. Thank you, Grassley.
So here it is. I mean, this is the big prize, right? This is the Form FD 1023 that everybody has been talking about so much. Chuck Grassley's office released it just a little while ago. I guess he said, look, this thing's not classified. I'm going to put it out there. Here's what it says in part, according to a confidential human source.
Lay it on me, man.
They, and this is Burisma, hired Hunter Biden to, quote, protect us through his dad from all kinds of problems.
Hired us to protect us through his dad from all types of problems. No wonder Joe was picking a fight with that prosecutor for no reason. And they fired him for no reason. And told Joe on the phone, I fired him for no reason. The dude didn't do nothing, but hey, you wanted me to do it so we can get that billions of dollars. This right here should warrant them going right into the White House right now, and dragging Joe out of there. We can't have a compromised dang on president in office. You don't know what's driving his decisions. All of this crap going on over there in Ukraine, we have no idea whether this is because Joe Biden owes some payback or not. We don't know. We have no idea. We don't know why Joe allows China to fly balloons halfway over our country, but we do know that him and his family was receiving a whole heap of money from China and Ukraine. So, on one end, we're letting our adversary over here wreak havoc and run all over us and gain the advantage on America, okay? And then on the other end, we got Ukraine pimping us for billions of dollars in equipment for some stupid war that we don't know when it's going to end and why we even over there. And both of these countries have given money to Creepy and the crackhead. Why is he still sitting up in their Oval Office? We just going to let this dude sit up in there and continue to wreak havoc in there? This is enough damning information for the Republicans to launch an immediate impeachment. Immediate. What are we waiting on? How much more data do you need? How much more evidence? How many more whistleblowers need to come out before they just go ahead and say, man, let's impeach this dude. Let's tie his tail up so we can subpoena and expose all of this garbage. But boy, I can try this case. So now that form comes out and breaks it all the way down.
Moving down a little bit, it costs $5 million to pay one Biden and $5 million to another Biden. Confidential human source.
Isn't that called pay to play? Pay one Biden and the other Biden. And then listen to this part.
Mentions Zlochevsky, this is Mykola Zlochevsky, who was the founder of Burisma, might have difficulty explaining suspicious wire transfers that may evidence any illicit payments to the Bidens.
Don't worry about that. Don't you worry about that, man, because you know what? The Biden set up like 30-something different small business umbrella companies and stuff because they're just doing all this. Let me get this money out. But follow that. Just follow the nut in the shell. Which one is it under? Yeah. Oh, sorry. You want to play again? So here they are hiding money all over the place, trying to make sure nobody found that money. And remember, they didn't think Trump was going to win. Once Trump won, they're like, oh, shoot. Oh, dang it. He might find out. And he did. And that's why they impeached him. But let's continue.
Zlochevsky responded he did not send any funds directly to, quote, the big guy.
The big guy. Don't worry about it, man. I'm good, man. Trust me. I did not send it to the big guy. Okay. All right. He knew who the big guy is. We know who the big guy is. So now we have it right there. And I want to also hear those audio tapes. When are those going to be released? And what point do the FBI have to come and tap out and say, you know what? We're going to go ahead and open up an investigation. I mean, what more evidence do you need, Ray? You already had this evidence. See, that's the problem. You had this evidence and you didn't do anything about it. And I ain't talking about some dang on raggedy Hunter Biden. Who cares about that bum? He's washed up. You know, that guy's expendable. I'm talking about the big guy. That's what I'm talking about. And if you guys are not subpoenaing the big guy over stuff like this, if there's no indictments coming down on the big guy over stuff not only like this, but then you got his crackhead son all on, WhatsApp, telling folks about, hey, the Bidens are the best at getting stuff done. You know he wasn't talking about himself. He was talking about him and his funky, stinking, dirty, crusty daddy. That's who he was talking about. All this evidence and no frogmen. None of that. And they running after Trump over something stupid. And then you get somebody we all know and love not come out trying to convince us that Creepy still got it and he's the best. Listen to this.
We have to be hopeful. That's just the way we're an optimistic country. We'll be hopeful that as we go forward, we can do this in a unifying way. And we couldn't be better served in that regard.
Oh, look at this. This man was installed to make
than by President
sabotage seem like incompetency. It's true. It's true. They installed this dude as they tear up our country and then make it seem like, well, he was brain dead. He doesn't know what he was doing. This and that. So he's expendable. And at the end of the day, they can go ahead and throw him under the bus when they're finished using him. That is such a true statement right there. But let's finish with Nasty.
Joe Biden. This is a person who respects other points of view, a person who has a vision about our country that is consistent with the vision of our founders, that respects the sacrifice of our men and women in uniform to keep our freedom. And
you hear that? You hear a lot of that in her voice? That means she has a mush mouth. He respects the life and all of the citizens and here's a president that... A lot of that going on in my mouth for my dentures, and I got the much mouth. That's what's going on, along with my monkey hand trying to blind you and distract you.
All over the place. You see that little paw? You see that monkey paw just doing this? So here she is now, trying to sell us on Biden. It's unbelievable. He respects all that stuff.
Intact and again honors the aspirations of our children. This is a person who respects other points of view.
Wait a minute. It's time to check Nasty's work, y'all. Let's go ahead and check her work. I heard all of the things you just said. You laid out your case. Let's go ahead and check your work on that.
It's the sacrifice of our men and women in uniform to keep our freedom intact and again honors the aspirations of our children. This is a person who respects other points of view.
No. Don't let him go. Look, everybody's entitled to be an idiot.
A person who has a vision about our country that is consistent with the vision of our founders.
The idea we still allow semi-automatic weapons to be purchased is sick. It's just sick. It has no social redeeming value. Zero, none.
Does Nancy know he was saying all this stuff? The founders, that ain't their vision. Here he is talking about getting rid of guns in the Second Amendment.
The Second Amendment from the day it was passed limited the type of people who could own a gun. And what type of weapon you could own. You couldn't buy a cannon.
Uh-oh, what's this? Cannons, okay, destructive under 1939. Oh, they're legal under federal law and in most states. Someone go get me a cannon, please.
This is the United States of America, for God's sake.
Wow. That man don't sound like he has a vision for America and he respects the forefathers and what they meant. He can't even say the word. It's the United States of America, for God's sakes. So, Joe, since Nasty Pelosi said that you have such a vision for America and that also you respect what the forefathers intended, let's see how he sums up America.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to
Was that in the Constitution? Where in the Constitution is a yeah, that's Joe Biden right there reading, I guess, in his own brain. And the Constitution says you know the thing. But here she is. Let's check some more of her work.
Respects the sacrifice of our men and women in uniform to keep our freedom.
What? Did y'all see those dude girls right there, all up in the White House?
But yet respects the sacrifice for our soldiers.
America, for God's sake. America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him
that respects the sacrifice of our men and women in uniform.
Look at that. See our men, women, and all in one? See, what they did is they consolidated, y'all. That's how Joe Biden did it. We're just going to have the men and women consolidate. So now we got girls up in with uniforms on and stuff. Here we go.
To keep our freedom intact.
Oh, I stand.
Look at that. Yeah, that's honoring our military right there. Look at that. Yeah, look at the North Korean in this dang old meme. Haha. Yeah, because that's what's happening. As we sit up here talking about buying helmets to accommodate different women's hairstyles and fighter pilot suits to accommodate women that's pregnant, North Korea, Iran, Russia, China, all of those countries are about business. This is what we're about. This is what we're about, guys. That's what we're about.
Squarely behind my decision. After 20 years I've learned the hard way that there was never a good time to withdraw U.S.
Yeah, you hear that? Learn the hard way. It's never a good time to withdraw out of Afghanistan. So at George Floyd's funeral, he was kneeling and all of that mess. But then look what he's doing here. And Nasty Pelosi said he respects our men and women in the military and their ability to keep us safe. How much do he respect them?
forces.
Look at that. The deaths, he's looking at his watch. Is it time for ice cream? Ready to bounce. Okay, now here he is after Nasty Pelosi done said all that good stuff. And she said he respects our military. Let's check in on what's currently going on over there in Ukraine.
Can join NATO while a war is going on, where a NATO nation is being attacked, because that guarantees that we're in a war, and we're in a third world war. So that it's not about whether or not they should or shouldn't join. It's about when they can join, and they will join NATO.
Why are you saying this, Joe? Why are you trying to tell us? I don't know half of what he was saying. It's not about what, but it's not about when they join this. So you're still trying to push this whole NATO thing over there in Ukraine. Y'all just committed to it. So either they're planning on getting rid of Vladimir Putin, or they're planning on going full war with Russia. Because if you think that long as he's still the president over there, that he's going to sit back and let Ukraine join NATO, knowing that, wow, look at all the benefits that this raggedy behind politician is getting from Ukraine. Yeah, I'm going to scratch y'all back, you scratch mine, all of that crap. Putin ain't going to let that happen. I mean, he'll go down fighting before he let that happen. And honestly, if I was the president of his country or any other country, and I knew my adversary was trying to put the country next door to me in some organization that could threaten our sovereignty, I wouldn't do it either. I'd be like, man, we're going to have to go to war. So here this fool is committing us to do something stupid. All right. Now I'm thinking to myself, Hunter's not going off to war if this crap escalates. Yeah, you're not sending your grandkids off to war. Dang on it. You're sending our people off to war because he don't care about those lives. We already lost 13 of them over in Afghanistan because of the raggedy pullout. But remember, Nasty Pelosi said he respects the men and women. And
the issue of whether or not this is going to keep Putin from continuing to fight, the answer is Putin's already lost the war.
Yeah,
that's news to him. You hear Joe just make a confession. Yeah, Putin already lost the war. I'm saying, when did that happen? When did he wave the flag? Nobody's seen him wave the flag yet, but Putin already lost the war because I said it.
Under Joe Biden administration is open season on America. Is open season on Americans because of that abominable retreat that the world saw in Afghanistan, where on the very last days we lost 13 brave Marines serving their nation. It's open season on America when you see our wide open borders in the south, and being from Michigan, 10th congressional district adjacent to a northern border where fentanyl continues to pour in. It's open season on America where our allies continue to not pay their fair share of their defense budget spending, and American taxpayers are expected to carry the load on their own. And now the Biden administration is calling up reservists because 100,000 troops already on the continent, enough to fill the big house in Ann Arbor, is not enough to accomplish this mission. Simply saying you're going to hold Russia accountable and stand by Ukraine is not enough. We need a clearly articulated mission to make sure that we can...
No. Joe can't clearly articulate a sentence. You think that man gonna get out and give us a... Yes, here's the strategy. He don't know. They're just saying, Joe, go out there and say stuff. That's it. So that man ain't gonna give us nothing clear. He's incapable of doing that because he's not our president. Somebody else is running the country. That's what, I don't even know why we're sitting here all pretending that this man is, the person in power. He's the puppet in power, not the person in power, not the president. He's the puppet in power. So the puppet in power right now is committing us to the long game with Ukraine after we just found out he took money from him.
Protect our interests at home and abroad. We must do both. And our
I'm not protecting our home interests. I'm protecting me and my crackhead son's interests. That's what he's protecting.
Defenses cannot be put on the back burner. Defending America first must be our number one priority.
But there you have it. Oh, wait, what's this? Because Nasty said he respects our men and women. Look at this. Okay, he's about to salute this brave soldier. Wait a minute. Maybe he didn't see him.
The president has returned to the U.S. Just moments ago. You've got to come and watch this. This was actually a light moment. We just wanted to play it for you. Provide a little a little relief as we are covering all this serious news.
Now, did you see that white nationalist go and pick up that hat for that black man right there? I can't believe he did that. Trump, man, what you doing, man? Wait a minute. Okay. Come on now, Trump.
What you doing, man? We didn't elect you to be picking up hats for some blacks. Don't pick up hats for blacks, Trump. What's wrong with you, man? You crazy, done lost your mind, man. You don't want to get that black on you, okay? You know, you get the black on you, you start beatboxing, dancing to hip-hop music and stuff, eating barbecue chicken and frying all your food, man. What's wrong with you, Trump? That ain't what we hired you for, man.
See, so I can't believe that. I cannot believe that Trump stopped and picked up that hat for a black man. But yeah, these are white nationalists, racists, and xenophobe, homophobe, and all that stuff.
See, a Marine alongside Marine One lost his cap. The president goes to help put it back in. It falls off again as he pats him on the side. He goes and he grabs it again. It's so windy,
that right
obviously,
there
from the
is a good
helicopter. He's trying to right the ship here.
Yeah.
And again, honors the aspirations of our children.
There's no such thing as someone else's child. No such thing as someone else's child. Our nation's children are all our children.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, right, our children.
Yeah, that's what Joe's about. Give me some
He's the
sugar.
most empathetic, unifying person
he's unified?
we could have.
Extreme MAGA Republicans don't just threaten our personal rights and our economic security. They embrace political violence.
Wow. I feel more closer than ever after that speech. Don't y'all feel more unified after he just said, extreme MAGA, they embrace violence? Straight up lied. Straight up lied. No, we do not embrace no violence. The violence comes from the left. We all know that. I'm sick of them trying to push this narrative and ain't producing no data. They ain't producing no video footage outside of, January 6th, which honestly, you know how I feel about that. However, all of the other stuff that they're claiming extreme MAGA violence and this and that, show me the unlimited clips that we have, like with Antifa and Black Lives Matter. Unlimited. Match that, please. That's what I want to see. I want to see you match the amount of video evidence that we have about Antifa and Black Lives Matter. And who do you think they vote for? Who do you think runs their organizations? Hey, it's all leftists. But he's a unifier. Check out this.
The Republican Party today is dominated, driven, and intimidated
Can barely say it.
by Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans. And that is a threat to this country.
Oh,
I couldn't be prouder of him. And again,
Proud for
we're
nothing?
very fortunate that he is in that position.
I don't want to hear any more of these lies about reckless spending.
here he is.
We're changing people's lives.
You see him riding around in his car. That's what they have to transport him in, a dumpster, because he's dumpster juice.
Just 20% of voters believe this country is headed in the right direction. 74% say the nation is on the wrong track. Let me tell you something about this moment. We have had this sustained period of 70%, about a year now.
Woo, wait. So wait, let me get this straight, Nancy.
You know what? I couldn't be happier that he's the person. And
You happy with those results? 20%? If your kid brought home a test, Mom, I scored 20% on my test. What? I'm so proud of you. No, you'll be upset. 20%. So that's what America is grading Joe at right now, saying 20%. Unbelievable. Here's Nasty trying to gaslight us. So there we have it, guys.
We up.
You sure did. What? When the heck is Trump coming back? I suck at this.
My name is-
That is so true. He absolutely sucks. And he's corrupt. He don't just suck, he's corrupt. He corrupt sucks. So now, let's get back to all of their comrades that is also working on behalf of people in the deep state, the dang on Democrat Party, and all of this stuff. We're going to finish out tonight listening to these useful idiots who think they're fighting for freedom, fighting for a cause, as they undermine our government, as they undermine our people, our Constitution, all of that stuff. Yeah, these people think they're going to be sitting at the table once they collapse the whole country, but they're not. So let's finish hearing their diabolical scheme. These are people that is working in the government or worked in the government, having a Zoom call, and then the Zoom call gets leaked. Now, this is and a half, maybe almost 3 years ago, before the election took place in 2020. They were planning a real insurrection. Listen to this garbage.
Laura, I am also a federal contractor rather than a federal employee.
Yeah.
I spent 3.5 years as a contractor at DHS HQ. My name is Maddie Salzman. I'm a management and programs analyst in a federal agency.
Vomit it all up.
Salzman has been a project manager at the U.S. Department of Energy for
U.S. Department of Energy, guys. Up there responsible for our energy and all of that stuff. And she's an activist.
more than 5 years.
We're in roles of power. We set and enforce rules. We hold people accountable to social norms.
Oh, social norms. That's in the job description. You're supposed to be working for the people, not controlling the people. How about you focus on energy? Figuring out the best way to have good, clean, resourceful energy that's cheap enough and clean enough and that y'all don't feel like you got to walk around and shut down the coal industry and this and this and that. But no, she's up there talking about holding people for social norms. Did y'all know that was a part of her job? Huh.
I have worked in the U.S. government. I worked in the State Department for over 5 years.
Maria J. Stephan worked at the Department of Defense Bureau of Conflict and Stabilization Operations and at NATO headquarters.
And I'm currently now on a leave of absence from my job to focus on our domestic democracy and peace building work. So I'm going to be bringing to bear perspectives both as an academic and as someone who has served as a public servant in U.S. government.
Co-author of Why Civil Resistance Works, part of Columbia University's studies in terrorism and irregular warfare.
Whoa.
She was also doing what appears to be military information support operations
She's deep
for
all in it.
Kiev Post, a publication everyone thinks is a CIA newspaper, during the U.S.-backed uprising in Ukraine. She is also a former senior fellow for the Atlantic Council as an expert on Ukraine and the logic of civil resistance.
Rallies, marches, methods of non-cooperation.
Methods of non-cooperation.
If anyone here is an expert on irregular warfare and mobilizing resistance movements, Stephan is.
Really, it's about how you all as federal workers can be the penultimate public servants at a time when our country needs you the most.
According to who? According to your Marxist butt? According to your communist butt? And she's sitting there talking about serving to your country when they need you the most. She don't sound patriotic. She ain't talking about preserving the Constitution, honoring the Bill of Rights. She's talking about subverting the government. And in her mind, your country needs you the most. These are the people that Yuri talked about that was being bred and brainwashed 40 years ago, 50 years ago. They end up right there. This is a result of that right there.
President Harry S. Truman famously said, "I thought I was the president, but when it comes to these bureaucrats, I can't do a damn thing." There are definitely a lot of different go slow tactics. And I think,
go slow.
This is also an area where, folks on the outside, so private citizens, those in groups on the outside, being able to show solidarity with federal workers and civil servants is particularly important during this moment. Bureaucracy is a really powerful pillar.
Gotcha.
And, federal workers have unparalleled familiarity with the bureaucratic process.
Okay.
They know how to speed things up. They know how to slow them down.
What?
They have access to critical information.
Y'all hear that? So you don't have to be elected. If you're a federal worker and an activist at the same time, you can slow up stuff. You can speed up stuff. Kind of like what they're doing with Joe Biden, with Hunter Biden, and all of that stuff, and the whole documents, top secret documents. We don't know what's going on with Joe. They're going to drag it out for a couple of years. They drug out the Hunter Biden laptop thing for about 2 or 3 years and all that stuff. But with Trump, hurry up. We got to indict him right now. Quick, quick, quick. Hurry up. Isn't that funny? So let me get this straight. You're suggesting, lady, a woman who worked in our government, that, hey, all you unelected folks that's in some room on a keyboard somewhere, how about you slow up stuff? Or how about you speed up stuff based on our agenda? Based on our, secret, undercover, subverted agenda right here. Based on that.
about policies that are being considered and implemented. They can participate in internal decision making. They can provide or deny knowledge and expertise that those at the top of the bureaucratic totem pole need. And
now you see that she's telling these people that is working within the government, you pretty much control the government because the people at the top are relying on you. If you do your work fast or slow, you can affect it. If you play stupid and act like, I don't know how to do that, or I don't think that could be done, then those people up at the top got to rely on your opinion. You hired a whole bunch of people in these departments that could either slow walk your agenda or accelerate an agenda to ruin somebody else's agenda. So here she is coaching folks in our government how to subvert the structure and the hierarchy within our government. It's unreal. Here she is just straight up on camera. Now, these people to be so secretive and planful, they're not realizing that they're on here doing this and somebody could be a mole.
another act of commission, albeit highly, risky, and there are a number of great downsides, is leaking. So leaking information about pending or actual policies with journalists, with activists, influential people on the outside. But this, really should be used very judiciously, only on truly significant matters, because most disclosures outside of formal internal whistleblowing are at minimum a violation of contractual duty, and they may put leakers at significant legal risk.
So you hear that? So now this woman is trying to tell them, go ahead and leak if you have to, if it's serious enough, even though you could be at risk. But go ahead and do it if it's serious enough. No wonder every other day we were hearing about Trump did this, Trump did that, Trump had a phone call with this person, Trump did. No wonder we was hearing about all of this stuff because of people like this in our government. So that means that some house cleaning needs to take place when Trump gets back in. You can't have people in the government like this. And what's crazy is, why aren't somebody interviewing these people? Why aren't these people being subpoenaed to come up to Congress and say, hey, look, we had a video of you guys on a conference call talking about leaking, subversion, talking about, a dang on takeover of the government, shutting down joints, doing all of that, disrupting stuff. Why aren't these people being talked to about this?
Connecting with civic groups and organizations on the outside and having frank and honest conversations with them. And when you think about it, the legal support and advocacy work of civil society organizations could come in really in handy, if and when you have to take certain actions on the inside.
I will pass it to Comrade Luck.
Y'all hear the word she's using? Right there inside of the Zoom chat. I'm going to pass it to a Comrade Luck. Who uses that term again? Is it the U.S. or is it the Russians? The same Russians that they're trying to blame for everything that happens in the United States. These communists right here is talking about comrade. You already know what they are. They're Marxists. They're communists. And they're using this in their Zoom meeting. Unbelievable, man. And you got government employees sitting in there not batting an eye at the fact that this woman just said, I'm passing it to comrade. Look, basically what you're doing is you've partnered up with a undercover government that's trying to function and subvert the government that we see. No wonder we can't get stuff done. So now here she is talking about Comrade Luck. Who is Comrade Luck? Let's see.
This alleged federal employee admits to leaking government information to the media and encourages others to do so as well.
I'm a federal employee for almost 5 years now. I just recommend everyone who works in the federal government, if you read the mainstream press, like who is covering your agency, who is working for ProPublica, who is working for Politico. They all have Signal accounts. Text them, leak everything you can.
Text them, leak everything you can. First of all, you need to leak all of that snot right out of your nose because you're talking right out of your nostrils. See, so let's start off with that leak because right now you're all jammed up right there in your nostrils.
See, all of these people, all activists, man. It's unbelievable, man. So the girls on here look pretty tough, like they might just hate all men. And then the guys on here seem pretty gentle, like they hate being men. But let's continue hearing from Comrade, whoever it is, Comrade Luck.
Save your emails, I record these meetings, I send it over. And I can't believe I'm showing my face here, but I've been doing this.
Yeah, I can't believe you're showing your face there either. Confessing right on this that, yeah, I leak. And I'm suggesting that you all leak. And I'm trusting you're not going to leak this video. Okay, that would be crazy. I can't even believe I'm showing my face on this. But hey, let's continue. Letting me confess that I'm a leaker.
And if you do have to write something with really crappy, just unintelligible, ungrammatical language to just make them look terrible. And it will look like something that comes from this administration anyway. But the journalists I've dealt with have been super ethical in ways to shield me.
While you expose yourself, dummy.
The journalists I've been working with, they're real ethical to shield me, but I'm going to expose myself by talking about my corruption and illegal activity on a Zoom call.
Okay.
Meaning to be the source of the leaks.
He even claims that he will be part of Biden's transition team if Biden wins.
If there's a Biden win next week, there's going to be a transition team coming in, and I think I'm going to be spending a lot of time working with them.
Some would argue that these people represent the fringe and are not to be taken serious. However, when you see the caliber of leadership, organization, tactical operations capabilities, and military intelligence experts all working together in unison, this has the ingredients to overthrow an elected government and install a puppet regime.
Thus, we have the puppet right up in the White House right now. So if anybody watch these people on here and they try to downplay it and say, well, these people don't represent, it's only a small group of them. Are you kidding me? You're telling me it's a small group of them, but yet all of these activists just magically show up in cities all over the place. You mess around, don't like abortion. About 10,000 of them show up there. They're wrecking the whole Capitol in some other state, and nothing happens to those insurrectionists there. Oh, I forgot to cut my phone off. All of that stuff. So now they're talking about some, well, you know what? These people don't represent. I'm like, no, wait a minute. These people are all over the place, and they are high tech. So don't try to downplay these folks talking about that's nothing. These folks are coordinated. They got a whole bunch of people with clout working with them to subvert our government. So now let's see about these Democrats' involvement.
A parallel government that they have ready in waiting.
Say you have two narratives happening simultaneously. There's the existing Trump appointees saying there is no transition team because there's no transition, it's a continuation. Then you have Trump's side, or Biden's side saying, I won and my team is coming to the doors.
Right.
We can make those determinations ourselves. They say you're going to keep your email account and we're going to start, and we're like, I don't know, we're like the Lithuanian government in exile or something.
These people think they got the juice. You hear that? We determine that decision right there. See, we got the control. We're able to manipulate all of that. Unreal. No Christopher Wray, none of that. No DOJ busting down their doors. Why aren't the Democrats dragging them into Congress and investigating these people and say, we saw you on the internet talking about making a decision for the American people about who gets elected or not. Why aren't they doing that? Why aren't they doing that, guys?
We're gonna start working with them.
They make it clear that if they can get enough federal employees to go along with their plans, they can choose who takes control of the government by simply doing the bidding of the usurpation of power on behalf of the Biden campaign.
We get to choose who the leader is, and I don't know what risk that puts on you, and I'm not a Fed again, so I don't want to put you in a weird situation, but I think that is a point where you and your team and your supervisors and those non-appointee
I'm telling teacher her said that they get to choose who the leader is. Her said that. Send her to the principal's office. What? No, she ain't going to the principal's office. Oh, okay, because she's your cousin, she's your niece, she's your daughter. You believe what she believes, and therefore you're going to let her slide. Even after this lady just said, hey man, we decide that, we can pick that. This is unreal. But yet they're going after all of these grandmas that walked around the Capitol.
I'm sorry, what's the term? Career staff can actually decide.
Career staff.
Well, according to our understanding, Biden won, and therefore we are listening to his appointees and his transition team. And that's obviously going to be on your thoughts there.
Even Lisa Fithian makes it clear that these groups all work together. Inside government, outside government, the more radical and the more moderate.
So many of the institutions, the nonprofits, the community-based organizations, the labor unions, all see themselves as part of that Democratic Party machine.
Democratic Party machine. There it is. Democratic Party machine. Wow. Now we know where the real violence and insurrection comes from. The left. Democratic Party machine.
They all work on a hierarchical model, but I want to always make sure that we're working intentionally inside and outside, because again, it's very easy for the people on the inside to throw away the people on the outside, to use them, but then to cut the deals.
Absolutely, because they're useful idiots. All of you on the ground level that's running around looting and shooting and tearing up stuff, and they letting this happen, talking about the mostly peaceful protests. They're using you guys. So yes, at some point, they're going to cut all of y'all loose. But here she is confessing that we all work together. The Democrats, she didn't say politicians. She didn't say sometimes Republicans. Democrat machine. And there we have it. Look at this. See what the Democrats do?
Direct their force and peaceful protesters.
Peaceful.
The vast majority of the protests have been peaceful.
And they're going and just pulling people off the street to make it seem like there are problems going on when all that's happening are peaceful protests.
Peaceful protests.
Peaceful protesters' ability to get out at night.
Most of these protests have been peaceful.
Most of them.
I applaud these protesters. The majority of these protesters are peaceful. They have been peaceful for weeks.
It has continued, for the most part, peaceful.
It was peaceful. We had a number of peaceful protests.
Now, what do you think is motivating all those Democrats to get up there and lie and talk about mostly peaceful protesters as we see buildings burning? You know what? All of that stuff you saw was organized by the people that's in that Zoom chat. See, all of that chaos, all of that burning, looting, that organized protesting and agitation, all of that, it's people like we just saw in that Zoom call. But yet those Democrats work in tangent by coming out and running cover. Mostly peaceful protesters. That's all it was, man. Stop picking on these people. But we couldn't get none of that peaceful protesting up there on J6, though, even though we had folks walking between the velvet lines, had cameras out, picking up stuff. Oh, man, these people knock things down. Let's get this together. But they weren't called peaceful protesters. See, they were called violent insurrectionists. So now you know who the Democrats are on the team with that mostly peaceful protesters as the fires burn in the background. Yep.
Through a delicate balance of brokering deals over who gets what power.
How are we always in right relationship? And how are we, especially those of us that are white, or those of us that have power in institutions or labor, how are we not continue to center ourselves, but using our energies as accomplices to support the voices of the people who are on the front lines right now?
I'm very nervous because I'm in the high-risk group.
You see this useful idiot right here? You see the young college useful idiot? Now you see why they target kids. You got this fool right here talking about very nervous, and you should be somewhere having fun right there, little girl. You should be going to parties and kicking it and studying. But they got you out there being a stupid activist for nothing.
Resisting arrest.
2 minors are going to get arrested. Their parents will be in D.C. Our lawyer is down to support.
The middle group got arrested and the two side groups didn't. Because the two side groups, when the cops came by and said, you can't do this, they said, okay, so sorry, pulled up the banners.
Look, all
the
kids.
top group said,
You see that? All teenagers, all young adults, college age students, all of that. Why are they going after all of them? Because they're unwise, they're young, and they want to be a part of something. We're part of a movement, man. We're making change. They're taking advantage of their youth and their ignorance. See, that's why they don't come after mature adults with this stupid stuff. They target these kids and sling them out there to ruin them. They pump their heads with some bootleg education, which doesn't apply, doesn't help them, doesn't motivate them, none of that. They just want them to be activists. There it is. We're not looking for you to be successful. We're looking for you to be useful. That is it, man. Useful to us. Who cares what you study? Forget that mess. You need to study some gender studies. That's what you need. And then come out and tear up stuff and get yourself arrested.
No, we're staying. And
All
so they
kids.
just stayed. And it's like, if they had said, oh, so sorry, they wouldn't have gotten arrested.
We turn people on the streets and confront the whole city.
Look
Because
at that.
young people in Boston can shut down the whole city. If I have 1,000 young people, I can shut down 4 or 5 highways and this city is in shackles. That's just the truth.
Because momentum.
What's amazing about this? All of these are confessions. This is crazy, man. All of these are confessions. These are people on video confessing, this is what we do. We shut down cities. We can shut down stations, police stations. We can shut down a dang on airport. We can shut down a news station. All of this, we can shut down the White House on video. And yet they're saying extreme right-wing extremists is the greatest threat to the homeland. I don't see us all on video in Zoom chats. I don't see all of us being featured burning down cities and all of that in a montage. While Republicans are going mostly peaceful protests. No, we're not doing that. All Democrats and young, useful idiots.
Has been like foundational for us at Sunrise.
So, no big deal. Just realized we needed to take over the entire United States.
Take over the entire United States. They got these kids out here being pimped out, y'all. They're pimping out these young adults, setting them up for failure and disappointment. It's going to be a rude awakening when they all realize all of this was for nothing. You were mad for nothing. You were protesting for nothing. You were radical for nothing. You're being used by these people who care nothing about you, and it's going to hit you at some point in life. So who was it? I think, Liberal Hive Mind. He just did a video on a study they showed how, the most angry, depressed, psychologically damaged people are leftists. They're leftists, extreme liberals. They got to be the most angriest, depressed people because they always got a problem. They teach them to be victims. They teach them to have stinking thinking, man. You're always behind the 8 ball. There's always some justice that we got to fight for. There's always some, and I'm going, man, how can you move forward in life when you're an activist like this? How can you enjoy your life? How can you go to a family reunion without looking around and judging your family, who you might have grew up in a conservative family? They send you off to college. You come back mad at the whole family. I realize that this farm that we own is on indigenous land and we need to give up the farm. Well, this farm provided you to be able to go to college and pay for college and all that stuff you got. This is our family business. I don't care. You're a white nationalist, Dad. Do you understand, man? I would lose it. I would be like, you know what? How about you get on that horse and you ride your butt out of town right now? So here are all these young folks being used, and I feel bad for them. I really feel bad for them because they have no idea what they get themselves in.
And all the institutions in it. I'm gonna fast forward to when Sunrise launched.
We're talking about some pretty intense things. How do
What is this?
open up the doors to everyone, but also keep each other safe?
Somebody go get me some bass. Somebody go get me some bass to put in that voice. I don't even know what he said. The voice was so high pitched, only dog ears might be able to hear it. Let's hear that again.
To when Sunrise launched.
We're talking about some pretty intense things. How do we...
Pretty interesting. How do we...
Good googly moo. Somebody put a bass box in his throat and not a snuffleupagus right there. All right, let's continue though.
Open up the doors to everyone, but also keep each other safe.
You're going to do something that's super high risk. Don't talk to anybody about it. Don't put it on the phone. Don't put it on the emails. Don't put it in a text. It's face to face. You do it. You don't have to tell anybody.
There you go. You see that useful idiot right? This dumb. She's supposed to be over the whole thing. She's the #1 consultant, activist, talking about don't tell anybody. Don't put it in email. Don't put it on a phone. However, put it in a Zoom call. It just goes to show, man, liberalism have compromised common sense. They're that arrogant to think that they can do this and nobody is going to leak their stuff because they all must agree with us to the point where they would never do that. So I'm telling them how to avoid getting busted. Don't put nothing in no emails, no phone calls. You meet them in person. You understand that? Except for these Zoom calls. Except for the Zoom calls. So funny, man. Oh, boy, I love it.
Because we don't know who anybody is.
You don't know who anybody is. Exactly. Just like this woman did not know that one of the people that was in those Zoom calls were recording them all and leaked that mess out. And there we have that jewel. That whole report showing all of this government collusion with these activist agencies and how they are really a part of the deep state along with the Democrats. But don't forget, guys, we're going after Trump. So we're going to close here with a throwback. All of those that remember, this man right here called it out. Let's see how accurate he was. Dumb liberals, man, as she puts her face on.
5% is a slow process, which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country.
Wow. And that mess done worked beautifully. So the same people who's calling their friends comrade in those meetings right there, they don't understand they're a victim of these comrades back in the day when they implemented this crap. When all of these communists say, you know what, since we can't beat America face to face, let's subvert them. Let's start messing with their population and get them to embrace all kind of foolishness that compromises their common sense. Just as we see these people thinking, we're going to overthrow the country, we're going to do all of this, they don't even realize that they're not able to see that you don't have your own self-interest in mind. You're working to destroy your own livelihood, your own country, your own security, all of this. But they think they're fighting for freedom and justice and stuff like that. Talking about some comrades. It's unreal.
It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow. The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already.
Now, guys, this was like back in the late 70s, early 80s. And he said it was completed. What we just watched is the manifestation of that completion. All those people in those little squares, all of them radical folks doing that. That right there is the manifestation of what he was talking about 30 years ago, 30, 40 years ago.
For the last 25 years, actually it's overfulfilled because demoralization now reaches such areas where previously not even Comrade Andropov and all his experts would even dream of such a tremendous success.
Wow.
Most of it is done by Americans to Americans.
Y'all hear that? Most of it is done by Americans to Americans. So our progress astounded the comrade over there. I can't believe Americans, their progress is amazing. We did not believe it would work so quickly, but they're apparently stupid. So now you find politicians helping this all happen. As you sit there and watch these Democrats talk about we're democratic socialists, as we sit there and watch them use Marxist conflict theory, use McCarthyism, use all the tactics of a darn communist country, they don't realize they're doing this to other Americans. They don't realize they are destroying their own people. They're so greedy, so caught up. Some of them are motivated by greed. Some of them motivated by ideology. Whatever their motivation is, they don't realize the damage that they're doing to our country by labeling all of us who got common sense and trying to hang on to what we have as radical extremists, white nationalists, xenophobes, homophobes, and all of that crap. They're using what the Russians and other communist countries use to destabilize the country and control their people. These folks are for censorship. Unbelievable. Democrats, man. Unreal. So finish, Yuri. He is almost done.
Thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore.
Wow.
A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him.
Whoa, this guy, he must be clairvoyant, yo. This dude must be a prophet. You got to be kidding me. So all of those folks that when they're out there with their signs and stuff, and you come over and you say, hey, hi, can I have a conversation? Why are you guys out? Start screaming. They don't want to hear you talk. You start, excuse me, what's your problem? Why are you? You know what? La, 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 we don't listen. See, that's what's going on. They got these young adults and some mid-age adults that are so brainwashed. No matter what you tell them, what you show them, they ain't trying to hear it. Those are people who are completely done. Take them out the oven. You don't need to cook them 1 minute more. They are the prototype of what they want to accomplish. A group of people who won't even entertain a conversation. Stop you at the door. And don't matter if you show them all kind of Trump never said this. Here's the video, the whole complete. I don't want to see that. That's how it is. I don't want to see that. Somebody said this video needs to go viral. Thank you. I wish it could. I really wish it could, man. You know, it's been a long time since I've even cracked 5,000 views. Ain't that crazy? But let's finish. Let's finish right here because this is the kipper.
Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat butt.
Yep, that's what all of these young radicals are being set up for failure to do. They're going to get a big fat kick right in their butts. And he's about to explain why. So I know we all have some experience when, if you were someone who talked to a family member or friend, or you on social media when Trump was running, and they all bought into a whole bunch of crap, and you show them that, dude, they're lying. They're lying, man. Here's the proof. All you gotta do is look at it. I don't want it, man. Go, that's propaganda. Man, that's Fox News, man. That's whatever, man. And you going, but you don't even want to look at it. And if they do look at it, they'll justify why it doesn't make sense, even if it is black and white. Those are the people that I go, wow, you're damaged goods. I'll move on. Because right now, if that didn't convince you, you're done. And it's a whole bunch of people in America running around just like that. And what's going to happen to these radical protesters, Yuri, after they finish destroying our whole country?
Process of demoralization is complete and irreversible. To get rid of society of these people, you need another 20 or 15 years to educate a new generation of patriotically minded and common sense people.
Common sense people. So let me get this straight. All of these young college students and some high school students and young adults running around participating in all of this stupid stuff, tying themselves to trees, standing in the middle of traffic, all of that mess, showing up at restaurants and stuff like that. All of those people right there, they're compromised. They're going to end up somewhere in our government, if we don't change things, doing exactly what those other people we just watched doing. They already blew out. So those people don't know nothing about America, sovereignty, upholding the Constitution, being patriotic. These would be the people who frown at the flag, get mad when they hear the national anthem, things like that. What he's saying is, forget them people. They're damaged. To stop this from happening, we have to address education, go back to fundamentals. Like when I was growing up, we were taught communism was bad. Stuff like that. If you didn't pay attention to nothing, you were taught that, hey, we're a free country and communism is the enemy. But now you don't hear nothing about that. You might get removed from class if you say communism is bad. Unreal. So thank you, Yuri. So what's going to happen to all these comrades?
Who would be acting in favor and in the interests of the United States society.
And yet these people who've been programmed and, as you say, in place and who are favorable to an opening with the Soviet concept.
We just saw them.
These are the very people who would be marked for extermination in this country.
Most of them.
What? No, Yuri, no. Are you trying to tell me those radicals that we just saw out there getting arrested, all those college people, they're not going to have anything to do once a whole country collapse and tyranny really kicks in? They're not going to have anything to do. See, but they're programmed to do it. They're like soldiers without a war.
They're sitting there like, all right, now we got everybody in place. We finally destroyed the patriarchal system. We finally got everybody speaking out of their nostrils. We all got our access to all the kids. We have all of this going on now. We love it. We have emasculated men. We have empowered women. We've done it all, and we've abolished all the racism. Wait a minute. What else is there to do? I'm no longer useful? What? You want me to shut up and go over there and sit down and go into my house and stop protesting? But what am I going to do now? You don't care, long as you stay quiet and get over it. Wait a minute, are you the real fascist? And watch what happened to these people. You think once they destroy the country, you think they're going to be tolerating these people in that chat talking about, all right, here's all the stoplights and here's where the police station is? That was only good for now. It was only good for you guys to destabilize our whole country and divide everybody. Once that's done, mission complete. Now go sit down. And if you don't, now because we're tyrannical, we can do whatever we want to you. There's no more Constitution. There's no more Bill of Rights. We make that mess up as we go. You understand? We the Bill of Rights. We are the dis and misinformation board. We're the ones who can take a radical and then all of a sudden overnight label you as a dang on domestic terrorist just like that. That's what you want as y'all help destabilize the whole country. So then if they're not used for Yuri, what are you going to do with them?
Yes, simply because the psychological shock when they will see in future what the beautiful society of equality and social justice means in practice, obviously they will revolt. They will be very unhappy, frustrated people. And the Marxist-Leninist regime does not tolerate these people.
There you go. And we are seeing that. We're smart enough to see it because the Democrats don't tolerate any dissent. You know, when it comes down to these Marxists, they want censorship. They want to remove guns. They want to remove you off the internet if you even joke about them. And they will label you whatever they have to label you as. They will even label you as a traitor to your country if that means they can silence, stop you, or control you. All of what he's saying is so clear. The writing is on the wall. Why is it that we can see it so clearly? It's being implemented right now by the people that all of these folks out there talking about justice and we're fighting. Let's keep Joe Biden in office. Let's get these Democrats. And I'm saying you don't realize that you're walking yourself right into tyranny. You're going to protest yourself right into tyranny. That's what you're going to do. And we're trying to fight against this mess. And that is why this upcoming election is do or die, y'all. This is the Alamo, man. I hate to say it. And now, you know, a lot of people, well, it's hyperbole. No. I really, in my gut, believe this next election will decide the future of our country. And so these fools, when they wake up, it's going to be too late. When they realize, are we the baddies? Are we the baddies? It's too late. They're going to get slung in a cell with all of us extremist right-wingers. Yeah, guy next to me with the nostrils. How did you get in here? Because of you and your crew destabilized the whole country. That's how I ended up in here. How'd you get in here? Well, I found out that we were the baddies. And now I'm in here with you. I'll be like, really? Are you a fascist now? Are you now a white nationalist? Huh? Yeah? Huh? We want them extremists, right-wingers? Just like that. Overnight.
They will join the links of dissenters. This disaster is coming closer and closer. Unlike myself, you will have nowhere to defect.
What?
Unless you want to live in Antarctica with penguins. This is it. This is the last country of freedom and possibility.
I hope they all hear that message, that warning. He said, unlike him, once y'all get finished tearing up this joint, you'll have nowhere to go. So let me get this straight, Yuri. You bounce, storm came, tore up your crib. You run, get in somebody else's crib. The crib is stable, is safe, all of that. You're like, we good. And for some reason, the occupants just start tearing out the walls and the bricks and the roof and all. And you go, what are you doing? What are you doing? Well, don't worry about it, man. This building was built, it was stolen land or something. We got to tear it down. But you do realize all the other places have been destroyed. This is the last place of shelter. If you destroy this, there's nowhere else to go. I just came from out there. Everything's gone. And yet, those folks would tear down their own cradle. Nowhere else to go after that. After that, well, where do we go now? I don't know. We had a nice joint. But you guys decided it's an indigenous land. We got to give it back. So that's what's happening to our country right now. And that man hit it right. I mean, it's crazy to see everything he said and how he said it would work has worked perfectly. I've never seen, it's crazy. Even though that ain't biblical, he's no prophet. This ain't no scriptures. But boy, did that stuff work just like he said it. I'm like, man, that process works. Subversion works. And don't have to fire one bullet. So God bless y'all. God bless America. Boy, tonight was juicy. So now we're going to see what happens to Creepy Sleepy. We got all these whistleblowers. We got Mayor Garlick implemented in his DOJ, helping Biden out. We got all this going on, man. Subverting our whole country right now. Trying to fix the next election coming up by telling you we're trying to stop all of this crap. Thank you so much. I see comments and I appreciate that. Everything y'all say and all your support. But I tell you, man, you know, we are fighting for our lives, honestly, for the future. And we got to stay focused, stick together. And we know that the deck is stacked against us in some areas. We actually have more people with common sense than these radical leftists and these government holdovers and deep state have. But they control so many of the institutions to make it appear that we don't have a large amount of people. They control narratives and things like that. I mean, my channel, they're killing me, man. They're killing me. You know, to pour your heart and soul into your material, and you know it's hot. See, I'll tell you if it's not, but if it's hot, it's hot, okay? I'm honest. I'm a realist, you know. I mean, I play and Putin fought around with singing, but I'm not going to release no album. You know, I mean, I'm aware that that's not my calling. I'm not going to get up there and know what. They're like, oh God, what is he got? He thought he was that sweet with the singing. Oh, man, he should have stayed doing commentary. That's my lane. That's what I do. All right, I do this, and it's comfortable for me, and I'm able to add comedy into it, and it's just natural. A lot of people say, man, how do you do that off the top of your head? I'm like, I don't know, but I'm going to stay in my lane. Okay, and so when you're doing that, and you know that what you're doing is beneficial to people, and if it's allowed to be put out and, you know, subjected, have people subjected to it, a lot of people could be impacted by it. But then you see the obvious oppression of your stuff and you're being lied to. It burns me up, man. It's talking about, nah, we're good. We don't do that to you. And I'm going, so then how do I go from 400,000 views on a couple of videos to like 1,000, 1,700? Can't crack 5,000. So that's why I'm relying on you guys to continue supporting the channel, sharing the channel, focusing on like buttons and stuff like that, and making sure you're still subscribed. And any donations and support you have, I appreciate all of that stuff. Cash App, PayPal. Make sure you text this number, text join to this number right here so that maybe we can offset a little bit of the darn suppression. All right. And you can listen to the podcast of all of these live streams and send them the links to your friends and all that good stuff. Okay. And also follow me on Rumble. So God bless y'all. God bless America, because we sure enough need it. If we ever needed the Lord before, we sure do need him now. Yeah, we sure do need him now. We sure do need him now. So let's continue to move forward. And I will see y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. I'm going to bust these up into some shorts too. Yeah. What? I know you see the apes. I know you see the way we tear up the place. Yeah. See y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. Take care.